Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. On this here strategy game, and we are returning to Let's Play of War in the West by Grigsby. Now, I am kind of intrigued because it is early 1944 here, and we are starting to look pretty well, I think. So, just as a reminder, our ground forces did try to complete an encirclement down here. The Germans did get in the way in their turn, so I think we're not going to be able to strike through here, but we might just be able to cut them off down there. And we might actually encircle a couple of units down there. In other news, we did push on to Bologna, but we did find that it was kind of difficult to do that because the Germans were controlling this position up over here on these mountains, so they kind of dominated this valley here between these two mountain ranges, and we were having a hard time pushing up our supplies through here and our reinforcements, so we weren't quite able to take Bologna, but I think that's going to be alright. We did loop around a little bit, threaten their flank. They did pull back, as you can see over here, so I think we're going to have an easier time over here. We did also push up a little bit over here. And I'm kind of intrigued because let's look at the map without the units here for a second. And as you can see, there are some mountains here, but there is a valley that could lead through here from Florence towards Ravenna. And I think that would be fantastic because if we do look at the situation down here, we've got quite a couple of units that are actually in this area down here. We've got basically full infantry division over here. We've got larger part of the Fallschirmjäger division down here. And we've got another full unit, I would say, here. It's sort of mixed up between various different infantry divisions. But you can see there are about 3 to 4 complete divisions down here, including some Fallschirmjägers, which are, of course, a pretty high priority target. But look at these guys over here. So if we look at you, can I actually look at this? Yeah, you can see these guys do have more than 100 tanks down there, including 53 Panthers, so pretty modern German tanks. You can also see these guys over here have another 20 Panthers and some Tigers and some Panzer IVs, so these guys are pretty strong. I would love to cut these guys off. There's also more Fallschirmjägers over here, some Panzer Grenadiers, another couple of divisions over here, so this is pretty fantastic. I mean, this is 3 to 4 divisions down here. Let's call that 3.5 division down here. Probably a little bit more than that, actually. But then there is another, let's call that 1 division, 2 division, 3 to 4 divisions, 5, 6. Yeah, we would have the potential to cut off, let's say, 10 divisions or so down here. So I think that would be a fantastic opportunity. So let's see what we've got in terms of our air setup to tackle that. Let's start out over here. We've got a couple of ground support units here that are going to just directly support our units as they're going to try to advance over here. Mostly the Desert Air Force over here, but also some other units down there. We're also going to try to soften them up by direct ground attack here on units by the Tactical Air Command. So that's about 800 planes that are going to primarily attack these 2 units. And then we're going to send another strike here by Bomber Command. So these are 2 engine bombers, 450 of them, to directly tackle these guys over here. And maybe going to be try to take them out. Some smaller part of Bomber Command is going to also attack the port here of Rimini. That's not a big attack, but let's see whether that is going to be successful. We might actually set this to, not interdiction, but the rail yard is going to be another target over here. So yeah, that's going to try to strike the port here at Rimini, and the Naval Patrol is just going to try to isolate that. Other than that, we're going to do the same here down in Corsica, and we've got some intruder missions here that are going to try to land, try to take out German planes as they are landing at night, if there's anyone. 15th Air Force, so our heavy bombers are going to try to strike at the oil yards down here, or the oil fields here in Poland, close to Lake Balaton. Is that right? Yeah, I think it is Lake Balaton, so maybe we're going to be successful here in western Hungary. Don't know whether that's going to be super useful, but basically there's snow over here in Bucharest, and yeah, Vienna could potentially be stricken, but it's sort of not great in terms of flying distance, so I think I prefer that target over there. We don't have that many bombers that are active this turn. I think a lot of them need to rest. Speaking of resting, pretty much everyone in Northern Europe is resting. You can see all of these things here are inactive because there's very heavy rain here in Northern Europe. So, without further ado, let's see whether we can push through this area here and whether we're going to be able to do some successful strikes over here. Now, this is going to be pretty difficult for our planes because a lot of them will be operating over there at the same time. and it's just not going to be very useful. But let's see, we just might be able to do some effect on them, but it just didn't look like we were doing a lot there. Well, we did bring them down to 8 points, which is actually fairly nice. But let's see whether we can push through down here. We should also just briefly look at everyone else. So let's check out the losses over here. I don't think we need to look at the effects here in detail, but the losses look fairly light. Yeah, that's all in all pretty okay-ish. How did 15th Air Force go? Well, a couple of recon planes lost, that's not great, but only 4 planes or so, whereas we did some damage here on the oil production, so that's nice, yeah. But let's focus on the ground war here. So, I think we'd want to conduct our strikes here first. Now, let's start by pushing up the units that are the furthest away, because I think these guys can still move up over here and attack. These guys cannot, that's okay, these guys could, that's all in all okay, but I think if we bring these guys forward, they might have the most striking power over here. I'm fairly confident about you. I'm not entirely sure whether I should bring you along, because you don't really have that much striking power. You guys could move up here. This is rough terrain, this is also rough terrain. But yeah, is it gonna be enough? We've got a special service brigade which we could bring here, but I think you're nominally even weaker than these guys. What have they got in terms of combat power here? They've got a couple of Stooks. They've got 31 anti-tank guns, so that's not insignificant, especially in rough terrain. But notice that they are using the L40 DA47, which is an Italian thing and not very effective. Okay, so if we bring both of you guys over here, and we were to attack, we'd be unlikely to succeed. Well, that's a bummer. Let's try to do a hasty attack here, including the 2nd New Zealand Mixed Infantry Division. You know what, we're going to try to strike here first. So let's try to strike here first. Okay, you guys are being pushed back, that's nice. And then you guys are going to try to do a hasty attack over here, pushing back these guys. That's lovely and very, very nice. So we did push them back already, at least a little bit. You guys are basically out of movement points, that's okay. We've got these guys, you can move forward, so that's another 2 infantry divisions over here. What I dislike a little bit is the setup that these guys are in different corps, which makes coordination between them a little bit worse. But I guess it's gonna be alright. Okay, let's push you forward. And then I think what I want to do here is either do a deliberate attack. I could do a deliberate attack. Okay, let's try to do that. Or do we want to... Okay, let's try to do a deliberate attack over here. We are pushing them back very nicely, actually, so that was maybe a little bit over the top, but it's going to be okay. You guys are out of movement now. That's a little bit of a bummer, but it's going to be alright. So how about the New Zealanders? You've got 33 movement points. You could get over there, which is going to be pretty much alright, I think. Don't think we need to push you up further. Well, we could also get here and try to strike at these guys. Do we have anyone else who could get over there? Special Service Brigade, you cannot make your way over there. You guys could with 60 movement points left. How about you guys 20? And you guys would have 25. You've got 7 attack power. You guys got a little bit more. Right, the Indians, they might be a little bit exhausted once they get there. But yeah, okay, let's take the Indians. Can I move you? No, I can't move you up. You guys could move up all the way there, that's alright, but... Okay, let's get the Indians over here. And let's do a hasty attack here with the Indians. Push these guys back, that's lovely. And that does mean that you guys here should be able to move up a lot further. That's alright then. Okay, you guys, the Indians, move further along the way, please. Then we could try to push back either of these units. How about you? Well, you can only make your way over here. But we would need to push them back, I believe. How are our chances? 0.4, 0.7. Yeah, these guys do have a difficult time to pass through this area. But we would need to get rid of both of them to be successful over here. So this is actually a city, so this would be more susceptible to infantry attack than to direct attack by tanks. Can I move you guys up? Yeah, I can. You would actually have some movement points if we brought you over here. That might just be enough to expel you from that position, although it would probably drive you into that point, which would again do not be great for our zone of control. Okay, we can pull actually back some of these units over here as well. So let's briefly try to get the situation over here in order. So your parachute regiment, I think we're going to move you onto this hilltop, which is going to be fine. We've got some reinforcements here by tanks. I suppose I can move you onto this hillside for a second here. And then I'm going to take the paratroopers here. You could actually make yourself ready for an attack on Bologna, which would be alright, I guess. Let's take these mountain troops here. Put them onto this mountain. So I think that would be alright-ish. We don't need to guard this entire flank here. So you guys can't get over there anyway, but you could get closer to the city. And I think you would actually be pretty well you would do pretty well at the city fighting. So that would be alright. I would also like to move you guys towards the city there and potentially be able to take out Bologna itself. So that does pretty much leave this armoured brigade, which I suppose we could try to fit through here and support this attack here. You are nominally rated at a 7. I don't think you have a lot of infantry, but you've got a lot of tanks, yeah. 18, and you'd have a little bit more than that, so I think it might make the most sense to move you guys up over here. You're pretty strong now. Okay, let's try to do a hasty attack. No, let's try to bring in more infantry first. And I do think the New Zealanders... Well, we've got... How many fast units have we got over here now? That's 6 movement points for you over there, and for you that is 15. So, yeah, okay, let's try to bring up the infantry here first. And then you guys are going to try to do a hasty attack on these guys. Pushing them out, that's lovely to see. Very, very nice. Good. And then can you actually try to push against these guys here as well? Yeah, you're doing that. Lovely. I like it. I love it. Great. So that does actually enable you to push up a little bit further over here. And then you guys... Yeah, you guys can basically make your way all the way over there. Can't put any infantry into the city of Ravenna, I'm afraid. I can't even move you there. Basically, you guys are all exhausted, which I completely understand, but it's not very convenient. Okay, let's get our tanks into Ravenna. That's going to be alright, and then you guys are sort of going to guard this flank here. Nice. So we have effectively cut all of these guys from any resupply there, so that's great to see. You guys could actually make your way over here, which is also intriguing. So that could potentially mean we even try to get rid of these guys, because they are definitely super annoying. Right, let's see whether we can do that. So I'm going to move up the Fallschirmjägers, sorry, the parachute division over here, and the Special Service Brigade, because you guys are kind of funny when it comes to attacking a city. You know what, let's use the tanks here to attack the city as well. Maybe we're going to be able to push them out, and indeed we are. So that's lovely. We didn't even lose that much, so that's nice to see. Good. Okay, we are a little bit short on defensive stuff over here, but we should definitely be able to push into that city, at the very least with these motorized troops. And I think the motorized troops might be our best shot over there. Okay, I'm fairly happy about the defensive setup over here. We've got another infantry division actually up over here, so you can sort of take over guarding this flank. because you can't move into there, but that's alright. You guys are going to move there. Then we're going to have the Polish infantry division come into there. That's alright. Okay, that's nice. That's I like to see that. Good. You guys can come here. Gonna try to attack these guys. Push them out. That's lovely. Good. And then our tanks here can potentially make their way towards over here. Nice. Okay, so we've also encircled these guys. Up over here, I'm not really happy about the setup, but I think it's gonna be alright. I don't expect them to be able to break through too much. Yeah, but they might be able to do that a little bit at least, and that already would be kind of crammy. Okay, let's pull back the infantry. I think they're gonna occupy this position, but all in all, I'm gonna be happy about that still. Okay, very nice setup over here. I like it. Okay, no one else here can move forward in any significant way. Well, we could actually move the tanks into here. And these guys are a little bit down there. Who are you? You've got a motorized brigade and a corps. You already count as isolated because we have basically cut off the harbour over here, which definitely is kind of nice. On the other hand, just occupying this rail line over here is also kind of worthwhile. How about, how far can we build up the rail line? Okay, we've got you guys down here. You can get into this position and potentially start building up. Do we want to leave you over here and being exposed? No, because you guys can attack there from the north. Nevertheless, we can start building up the rail over here. Yeah, I suppose it's going to be alright to start building the rail line there. Okay, let's also briefly look at the situation down here. So we don't need to cut them off necessarily, but they do actually have still a couple of supply depots. So 27,000 supplies at Rimini, 17,000 over here, 10,000 over here, 25,000 down there. But I do wonder, I mean, I could try to attack that, and I can. So that's nice. And I do think it makes sense to isolate these units down here from any resupply. So let's actually move into this position there. That's alright. Can move you over there and there. So we've got a nice and solid line this way. You guys can push up there. That's okay. And then I suppose you guys can sort of... Okay, you know what? You guys make your way over here. And then you guys can move onto the top of the mountain there. So that should allow us to tackle these guys there. You guys can move up a little bit over here. I think that's going to be alright. So sort of isolate these guys all the way over there. Ooh, you can actually move up over here. So that's lovely because that means I can actually fully support the line over here. And that actually means we could actually get over here too. Which I suppose is fine. So that does mean that you guys here can at least build the rail line up to here. Although, frankly, I mean, the rail line towards Bologna here should have the highest priority, so let's actually start to build that up. Okay, we can't move into Bologna itself, but we've got 2 units down here, which I think are going to be strong enough. So that's okay, and in Bologna itself, you know what, we're going to give priority repairs here to the rail line, to the rail yards, because that is going to allow us to serve as a major supply center here, which I think is going to be great. And the port down here at Livorno, yeah, it's gonna take some nice repairs there. So yeah, I think this is gonna look fairly nice. Good. And that does mean for you, yeah, primarily I think we should prevent this from being cut off. So how about the Italians move onto this mountain? You're going to be having a hard time there. But I do think, you know, being on a mountain is probably going to be enough to prevent any attack from happening there. So that's alright. You guys could push it all the way over there, but you know what? I think over here we are a little bit, we are doing a better job to try to contain these units. And then again, we can pull you over here and start to build some railway capacity odds towards Ravenna, and that is That is going to give us a nice rail line over here. It's all going to flow through Florence, so at some point we do need to set up the connection over here. But for now that should be alright. Yeah, I think that's going to be okay. Right, we do have someone down here, so let's also briefly take that into account. So you guys are currently on a train. Let's get over here and into at least Sereni. Now, we could move a little bit further, but I'm slightly concerned with these Germans over here, so let's not overdo that. And, well, we could try to contain them this way, but I think you're going to be better suited over there. That's alright. We've got a Polish brigade. You guys should potentially move up all the way. You know what? Let's send you all the way over here. And this Polish infantry division is going to be able to attach to that now, which is fine. Good. I like it. I like the setup over there. Good. Very, very nice indeed. Okay, you guys could try to move forward a little bit. Not sure whether we'd want that. Get stuck in a little bit more here, but that would open a gap here. So, yeah, I think for now it's going to be fine. We've got the 6th Corps over here. You guys are a little bit awkward right now. Let's move you into there. That does give you all of control of all of these units, so that's okay. 6th Corps, you know what? Let's assign you towards the 6th Corps as well, so that we have a semi-coherent line over here. You guys are a little bit over your command capacity now, but that's going to be alright if we assign you here towards the 8th Corps, because that is what you're actually using with. Where are you guys based? You're based down here. And you are fairly well set up. You're a little bit... It's a little bit strange that I've got a couple of your units sort of on this flank. But what can we do? You're directly assigned to an army. You're 8th Corps. You guys are 8th Corps. You guys are 2nd Corps over here. 2nd Corps is that the... Yeah, 2nd Corps is basically the guys on this flank. You've got a little bit of capacity, but we do need to assign you towards 2nd Corps as well. So that's alright-ish. Let's move you up at least to Pisa. Yeah, I guess these guys over here should really not be 2nd Corps. You should be more like 8th Corps, right? But how much space have we got? None. 5th Corps is fine. 7th US Army. Well, we've got still the Polish guys over here, so maybe 1st British Airborne could be assigned towards that as well. Because you're just not going to get enough supplies from here. We've also got the Indians over here. Okay, you guys... Rather than report to the Americans, do report to the Poles. That should be okay over here. Yeah, I like it. You guys are 8th Corps now. Well, wait a minute. If we assign you here towards 2nd Corps, you should still be in range. Yeah, you're just barely not. Just barely not. This way you would be. Okay, fine. And then you here can be assigned to 8th Corps, right? Yeah. Okay, that's much better. Right, okay. Good. So let's take 8th Corps then. Push you up sort of into the middle of your men. So that you're doing a good job here at supporting everyone. That's going to be alright. Yeah, these guys here are slightly awkward, but you know what? You can actually be part of 2nd Corps as well. Good. Yeah. And then someone over here is 8th Corps, the Special Service Brigade. I think I would like to keep you in there. So that's going to be alright. And then the 5th Corps, you basically all the armored units. So let's send you towards sort of the central position there. Let's keep with the infantry here. I think you're going to be able to command everyone there. But You do have some space, so I'm going to actually take the Polish guys over here and assign you towards, not the Polish units, but towards the 5th British Corps. And the reason for that is the Polish guys basically suck at commanding armor. So these guys here, Władysław Anders, he is pretty decent at commanding infantry, but not really at mechanized troops, so that's fine. Whereas the 5th Army over here is sort of specialized towards that, so I think that's going to be alright. This position here looks kind of weak, but honestly, we just will be fine, I think. We could actually move you over here too, so that we've got a solid line over there, but I think it's going to be alright this way. Fine, yeah. Do we need to move anyone down here? I think you're fine. Perugia is a little bit open, but honestly, I kind of doubt whether they're going to be able to break through over here, especially given that they're not going to have that much in terms of supplies. These guys are all fine. Yeah, we've pushed back a lot of units over here. We will need to push on Rimini, the harbour here, and we will need to pull off some units here. But I think all in all, this looks pretty darn good, I think. How about an attack by you guys over here? You would have more than enough to tackle these guys, I think. So if we can start to push them back a little bit, that would be fantastic, wouldn't it? Yeah. Also, I think at Fano there's another depot. 10,000 supplies. Will not immediately be useful to shorten our front line, but you know what? Let's wait for that, because I want them to be properly isolated, and sometimes the game is doing that a little bit weirdly. Okay, could push you forward, but again, I don't want these guys here to flank around anything. Don't think they should be able to do that, but I've been wrong about that before, and it did cost us dearly, so yeah, no, not going to do that. How about you guys? Can you sort of attack here? Maybe, but honestly, why would we? Let's have them suffer some supply issues first. So yeah, I think that's pretty nice over here. I'm going to move up a couple of our headquarter units here, but you know, you guys are fine where you are. 5th Air Force, your fighter command, you're more or less based over there, or supposed to be based over there. Let's get you over there. We've got this infantry division, or not division, just some regiment here. I think it just might make more sense to pull you into that direction over here, but I can't. Okay, so let's just walk you into the general direction where you'll be useful. 12th Command, you know what, you might be good where you are. Desert Air Force, I think you're just supporting the headquarter units over here. Do you want to move you into some other position here? No, I think you're going to be alright. Yeah, you know what, let's move you there, that's okay. And then we've got the 5th Army over here. You guys are fine commanding them like that, I think. Slightly concerned about this position here, but honestly these guys probably are not going to be able to strike us there, so I think that's alright. Will we ever be able to attack these guys there? I don't know. We will need to push up someone over there over some time. But yeah, I'm pretty happy over here. You know, let's see whether the Germans are going to be able to break through over here, and let's just end our turn. Really intrigued to see whether that is going to be a decisive move over here. Also going to be intrigued to see whether they're going to be able to pull out of Rimini here. I mean, the harbour is damaged and there is no supply route through these hexes, so at the very least they should be losing a lot of men if they do that. But I'm not sure they can. Let's see. They're going to recombine all of their fences over here. These guys down here should start to lose a lot of supply. Let's actually pause here for a second. It's interesting to see that they're going to attack over here. They're losing already kind of a couple of men here. It's only a small part of a division that is attacking here, so it's kind of a futile attempt anyway. This does look like a more concentrated effort over here with 30,000 men and various divisions trying to get these guys here back into supply, which certainly is interesting to see. But are there going to be enough? No. And they're losing more men than we are, which is rare, but still very nice. Second attack will usually fail if the first one has failed already, and indeed it does, so that's lovely to see. No further attacks, but they are rearranging a couple of their troops. especially pulling them over here. Interesting, so they are, well, they're going to redistribute that again in a moment though, so... And I think at that point they're always cheating when they're reorganizing their lines. But yeah, you can see they still are cut into two different parts down here, and probably I think they're going to have a lot of issues down here. Let's see how that is going to turn out. We might start to see some heavy mud over here, which certainly would not be great for us. So let's briefly look at the weather over here. Now it looks like these guys are mostly fine. Germans have definitely pulled a lot of new units over here, but also pulled back a little bit, which is interesting. Also pulled back a little bit over here. And I don't think they're going to have a lot of units to stand in the way of Rimini. So Rimini itself is mostly headquarter units, except for one corps. We've got a Panzer Grenadier division over here in the way, and some motorized brigade. Otherwise, these guys are pretty isolated. You can see that they are starting to suffer some supply shortages over here. Not that much, but still a little bit. So only 13,000 supplies over here, 16,000 over there, 17,000 over here. This we can capture easily. Rimini, I guess we will be able to capture. And San Marino, maybe. These guys down here should be out of supply already, so it should be relatively easy to overcome them one after one. But still, that's a relative term. So you can see these guys still have 22 defensive value over there, and still this part of the Panzer Grenadier division over here. Look at the these panzers over here. So they are out of supply, I think, or at least out of fuel. So they have a very low fighting capability for now, which is interesting. Really, I think we might be able to do something against these guys here. Rough terrain, clear ground, clear air. This is going to be a fantastic turn for us. There are more Panthers over here and more Tigers though, so we do need to be kind of careful, because that is the 12th SS Panzer Division. But they are definitely pulling new units here, which I think we haven't seen so far. 272nd, 44th I think we've seen. Some mountain divisions. Security detachment, I think these guys were in Bologna, so that's not a big surprise. But I just like to see that these guys here are low on supply. But it is kind of difficult to push that up over here. Can we actually see our supply lines? Curiously enough, we are not really using these rail lines. I would have thought we'd push up a lot more. Well, we don't have a depot over here. We do definitely need a depot over here at Bologna at some point. But yeah, mostly we are pushing a lot into Livorno. And that's going to be alright. We can, I think, at some point build another one in Ravenna. Or maybe fly some supplies into Bologna as well. I think that should be pretty alright. These guys have basically fled onto the mountain, which is also interesting to see. Yeah, but their Stooks are not going to be that useful to them anymore. So yeah, very nice result over here. I'm pretty happy. Hope you guys did enjoy this little series as well, and we are going to be... yeah, hope to see you around next time, guys, when we are probably going to try to reduce this pocket here a little bit more. And then we'll also need to talk about our plans here for an invasion of France. Because, let's be honest, the weather here is so bad still in February. We cannot fly any missions over here. We are not going to be able to fly anything this time around. So that's going to be a problem, because next time around, if we are seeing... yeah, we've gotten a couple of new amphibious groups over here, which is fantastic. But next time around, a couple of other ones are going to withdraw. So yeah, we're going to basically replace a couple of them, which is alright, but that does mean that we're going to have some problems here with the task forces and the preparation. So basically all of the preparation is going to vanish, and we will need to re-establish that. So a March landing sort of does not look that likely anymore, but we're going to need to see. Oh, look at that. So Neapolis to Rome is a supply line that is being used heavily. I'm curious that not more is being pushed into this area here. That being said, hope to see you guys next time. Bye bye.